Instant reaction of today's 49ers practice here from the team facility where Brock Purdy was absolutely sensational, almost perfect. He was 21 of 25 with 3 intentional throwaways. And Brandon Aiyuk watched the entire practice from his front row position right on the sideline. I have to say, Brandon Aiyuk, this is the first time that I've seen him with the sleeveless shirt up close because normally he's been on the other side of the field during these practices that he's watched. And Brandon Aiyuk is looking strong. I think that he has indeed stayed in shape. Obviously, he needs to build up that football shape and that football callus. That's why the 49ers want him out there sooner rather than later. But we got to talk about Purdy today, who was sensational. Perfect timing because today was the day that my major Brock Purdy feature story came out on The Athletic. It is my trip to Ames, Iowa. Trekked out there, talked to Iowa's coaching staff, Matt Campbell, Taylor Mauser, who's now their offensive coordinator. They even were able to show me film of the play that began it all with Brock Purdy back when he was a true freshman in 2018 at training camp, juking out Jaquan Bailey with a fake pitch. Today in practice, he had an actual pitch on an inside play in the red zone to George Kittle. He threw a deep pass to George Kittle. The precision that we saw from Brock Purdy today was truly something. I mean, Deebo Samuel is a strong receiver. Brock Purdy was able to put the football exactly where it needed to be, so Deebo Samuel could use those strong hands several times. Speaking of Aiyuk on the sideline for the 49ers today, Ricky Pearsall, who's rehabbing, looks like he's closer to returning right now. He talked to his former ASU teammate, Brandon Aiyuk, on the sideline. Isaac Yiadom, 49ers cornerback, who is rehabbing from an ankle injury, also talked to Brandon Aiyuk on the sideline. And then at a certain point, we saw Deebo Samuel come over. That was after the 49ers offense, the first team offense, had enjoyed such a dominant day. Deebo Samuel came over and was talking a little bit to Brandon Aiyuk, who was wearing white today, by the way. Did not have a team logo on it. Not even sure if yesterday's red had a team logo on it. It was 49ers red, but Brandon Aiyuk, obviously, as I said, was on the other side of the field. Big picture, this 49ers offense, after they went through that tough stretch yesterday, this might have been their last very long practice of training camp, because I think next week they might be game planning, dress rehearsal, week 3 of the preseason. So in this very, very long practice, this was the most throw attempts that we've seen from Brock Purdy in a single practice. He was clicking, and I think it's a great sign for the offense that Purdy is clicking with the weapons that are available to him at practice. There obviously have been some ups and downs. I think coaches like to see that in training camp because it means that the offense and defense are both battling it out, both have their respective moments. But today, for that first team offense, a lot more ups than downs with Brock Purdy just in complete command. Short, intermediate, long. Even when he was pressured, like I said, either an intentional throwaway, didn't make a mistake, lived to fight another day. But in other situations, Brock Purdy took off and ran. And obviously we don't get to see all too much of how well that works in a training camp practice because there's no tackling and there are no official sacks. But when you read the article that I put out there today from Iowa State, this is something that people who have coached Brock Purdy, who have worked with him for years, this is something that they've known about him ever since 2018. Obviously, the play that he made a splash at Iowa State to begin his career at training camp was a running play, but his elusiveness, his short area quickness, his ability to burst in short spaces has been elite ever since Iowa State got him there in 2018. Probably was really good even before that. We can do a deeper dive into Brock Purdy at the high school level, at Perry High School in the Phoenix area. But he's been a gamer everywhere that he's been. The 10-yard split obviously is elite. We've talked a lot about that. It's not really correlated with his 40. He runs a 1.55 10-yard split. That was on display today at practice when he was getting away, setting up some further throws downfield to get away from the pass rush, and I think it's going to be on display again during the regular season and into the playoffs for the 49ers after Purdy showcased it so impressively last year during the entire season, but especially during the NFC Championship game against the Lions. When I sat down in that Iowa State football facility with Matt Campbell and with the coaching staff and with some of the performance staff at Iowa State, we talked a lot about that short area quickness and how that and the pump fake ability for Brock Purdy can absolutely set him apart. We know that he's extremely accurate throwing the football, but it's the way that he's able to pull the strings in subtle ways that allow him to be an MVP finalist and to deliver the way that he did for the 49ers today. I'm actually going to give you guys a quick little video right now from Mark Coberly from Iowa State. This is part of the article that I wrote, but Coberly talking about Purdy training his reflexes. This is in the basement on an old machine that they no longer have plugged in the basement of the training facility at Iowa State when I was back in Mames, giving you guys a little behind the scenes look at Brock Purdy and the training that he underwent to deliver at Iowa State and be ready to deliver for the 49ers like he did at today's 21 of 25 practice.
You set the computer to turn these lights on, right?
Oh, there we go, yeah.
The lights will turn red or green or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it was him and Charlie Kolar who used to go and compete against each other. That's what they were doing. And so it became a daily game, like it was 60 seconds, how many dots can you hit? How fast can you hit them? Well, the other thing it does is it starts to give you scores on which quadrant of your vision is the quickest and which is the slowest. So it gives me some feedback on that, on what that is. He just came in and practiced on it all the time. Now he's naturally gifted at it, number one, because he score higher. But then I think it certainly didn't hurt him by coming to do that. Now if he was on today's machine upstairs, it would be greatly different. It's a touch video board and it's like all kinds of things. This is kind of like the original, but
So how do they score?
oh, every time he hits a button.
Oh, you hit the button when
And if you miss the button, it knows you miss it. Right? And it's telling you how many tenths of a second or hundredths of a second does it take.
So, and was his score the best that you had seen?
It was pretty good. Yeah, but I mean, like they had some pretty stiff competitions. Like Charlie's scores got pretty high too.
Nice.
But I just think the fact, like it's not the same test they would have had at the combine, but just the fact that they're doing the vision training all the time. That's what we're telling our guys now. Good, because it's crazy. Like when they start doing vision training with us, it'll tell us right away is the peripheral getting better or worse, where's weakest. Like we had a guy who's playing in the NFL now that was tested on it, and he was consistently scoring low on the bottom and the right, same places he drops balls.
Wow.
So they're just not quick getting there. So
Well, with Brock, one thing we were talking about is that his 40-yard dash wasn't very fast, but his 10-yard split was like 95th percent. Yeah. But on top of that, his movement ability is elite. So I think one way to quantify it is the 10-yard split. Another way to quantify it might be his reaction time and peripheral vision. He's seeing it, so that way it's like a center fielder getting a good first step on a line drive.
exactly
Yeah.
right. His ability to see not just receivers, but just see in the periphery and know where to move. He's always like he's got that innate ability. I don't think this created that ability for him, but it certainly let him practice it. Like it would let him enhance whatever he had.
Yeah, polish it, and then it's so fascinating with him because he obviously fell to the last pick. So it's like, what are the people who are trying to quantify what he's good at missing? So I'm always trying to quantify what Brock is good at. The 10-yard split is one thing. Something like this probably quantified it as well, yeah. But so much of it's innate, right? So
his leg strength, even like when he showed up here in 2018, his leg strength was really good. Like it was elite. So he's always had strong legs, a strong base. He's always been able to move. This was stuff he probably started 2 years in because we were doing it. And then those guys got to competing on this thing. Like they'd be in there every day, 2 or 3 times. Like, can I enhance my scores? And it was kind of cool because you watch them, they'd improve. And then eventually you get to the point where it's like you kind of tap that out. It didn't surprise me. Like it's been a while since I worked the combine. I didn't know they were doing the vision testing like that, but it also didn't surprise me when they said, oh, he scored really well. He's been doing something like this here. It's not the same test.
when you talk about the leg strength, that just squat measurements, and you just putting up a ton of weight.
Just that, like his quads and his hamstrings were big as an 18-year-old when he came in here. They were like he was strong. He'd obviously trained a lot wherever he was at home and did it the right way because
And I probably
he worked on his speed and stuff after he got here, which got better. But he had a really strong base. He's hard to shake him. Like So he's
Yeah.
it's hard to shake.
Yeah.
He can withstand that a little bit of being bumped. He's always been able to.
All right, that's the instant reaction. Make sure you check out the article, subscribe to The Athletic. This is new insight on Brock Purdy that you haven't read anywhere else. It took a big time scavenger hunt for me. I had to go all the way to Iowa to dig up this information, a long way from Levi's Stadium, but we're connecting all the pieces from Brock Purdy's college career now to his excellence with the 49ers during training camp.